Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the Muntsy app. Today, I was very lucky and I got to go and visit the Galleon Andalusia, which is a replica vessel that's currently moored in Weymouth Harbour for the weekend. So, if you'd like to go and visit it, you can do either today on the 19th or up until Sunday on the 21st of May. What do I mean by replica? Well, a replica is a copy. These vessels sailed the ocean over 300 years ago. That's a very long time, so that means there are no original ones left anymore. So, in order to build a replica, they had to spend over 3 years going through libraries, not too dissimilar to the one on the top of the island that some of you actually go to on a regular basis, and maritime archives, where they were able to find the original plans, the original designs, so drawings of these vessels, which they were then able to use to build a new one. And it's a very authentic replica, so it's a really good way to see how people would have sailed the ocean 300 years ago. So let's go aboard. Here I am going across the gangway and onto the main deck. Now, as you can see, the way I'm pointing at the moment is at the front of the ship, and you can see the ship's bell. Looking to the aft of the ship, the stern, you can see the flag and the ship's wheel. So here we are on the front of the ship. Now at the very front you can see the bowsprit, which is one of the ship's sails. This would have helped push the ship forward, so it doesn't have an engine, it's pushed by the wind like all sailing ships. So in this photo we can see the ship's capstan. Now the capstan was used to lower and raise the ship's anchor. They would do this by putting big spokes, so these big blank planks of wood, into the slots that you can see on the top of the capstan. With these blocks of wood in place, they could then turn the capstan. This would have been a very hard job to do because the ship's anchor is made of metal, so it's very heavy. It could take up to 7 to 8 people to actually turn the capstan, which is attached to the anchor by a long piece of rope. So as the capstan turns around, it pulls up the rope and actually raises the anchor. Here we have a picture of the ship's bell. 300 years ago, they used the bell for communication. It was basically like an ancient telephone, which they would use to actually signal between ships. So there would be 2 or 3 ships sailing around, and they would use the bell to communicate with each other, especially when it was very foggy and very difficult to see. So they would use the bell to let the other ships know where they were so they wouldn't collide. Today, the bell is used to announce lunch and dinner and to let the sailors know when it's time for them to stop working and have a break. So let's go down to the gun deck. So here on the gun deck can be found the ship's cannons, which they would use to protect themselves against pirates or corsairs, which were pirates who were hired by other countries who would attack Spanish shipping. The gun deck would also accommodate most of the sailors, so this is where most of the crew would actually live, sleep, and eat. So as you can see here, this is a mock-up of one of the tables that the crews would have rigged up during lunchtime to actually sit down and eat their meals. Kind of like what you do at Muntsy's when you actually have to sometimes take out some of the tables and set up for lunchtime, so it's very similar to that. So here we have what is called the noble area. So this would have been a place that would have been off limits to normal crew members. So the only people who could have come in here would have been the captain, the officers, and any of their special guests. And this would have been their private accommodation. So being a captain, you would have had your own bedroom. And so as you can see, it's quite comfortable. And going to the back here, we actually have the main captain's cabin office area. So this is where the officers would have eaten, dined, and even planned their journey. And here we have the quarterdeck, which hosts the mizzenmast at the back and the ship's steering wheel and compass. So this is where the ship would have been steered and navigated. Well, that concludes our tour. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. And now let's listen to some authentic sea shanties to end the film. See you soon.
William Taylor was a brisk young sailor, full of heart and full of play, until he did his mind uncover to a youthful lady gay. 24 British sailors met him on the King's Highway. As he went for to be married, pressed he was and sent away. Follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-dither-oh, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-day, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-dither-oh, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-day. Sailor's clothing she put on and went aboard a man of war. Her pretty little fingers, long and slender, they were smeared with pitch and tar. On that ship there was a battle, she amongst the rest did fight. The wind blew off her silver buttons, her breasts were bare, all snowy white. Follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-dither-oh, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-day, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-dither-oh, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-day. When the captain he did discover, he says, "Fair maid, what brought you here?" "Sir, I'm seeking William Taylor. Pressed he was by you last year. If you rise up in the morning, early at the break of day, there you'll spy young William Taylor walking with his lady gay." Follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-dither-oh, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-day, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-dither-oh, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-day. She rose early in the morning, early at the break of day. Here she spied young William Taylor walking with his lady gay. She procured a pair of pistols on the ground where she did stand. There she shot poor William Taylor and the lady at his right hand. Follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-dither-oh, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-day, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-dither-oh, follery-dum-dum-a-dare-I-day.